Hey there friends, what's going on? So a rhythm guitar lesson today where I want to talk about reggae and essential basics of the reggae technique and playing with a reggae feeling. And even if you only have an acoustic guitar, and even if you can't play bar chords yet, right, there's still lots of fun we can have with this style of playing using open chords, right? Let's dive in. I'll talk about the basics and show you some fun things you can practice to get up to speed with this technique. So the first thing I would say you want to get comfortable with when you are sinking into the reggae, style of playing, or even listening to music and paying attention to this, is the accent on the off beat. Okay, that's one of the most defining characteristics of the style of music. Now, what do we mean by that, right? Accent on the off beat. Well, if we start with sort of typical Western music, 4 beats per measure is the norm, right? So typically we would count like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and I'm saying and. You might see it written with a plus sign, right, in notation. That's basically the offbeat. It's between the beats. Now in reggae, like I said, that's where the accent's going to go. So we would take the same tempo of counting, but we would apply the accent so it sounds like this, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. What I recommend you do before you even attempt to play chords is just mute your strings like this, right? And you can do this without a guitar even. You can count out loud. I recommend putting your body into it. You kind of see me moving my shoulders 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It might look goofy, but I'm telling you, as far as feeling the music, it's going to be your friend. And especially once we add chords and chord changes and muting and all that stuff, having the rhythm sort of just baked into your whole body is going to help you out, okay? Now, from there, you could actually sort of sing along with your favorite songs before you add chords yet. So if we take a Bob Marley song, 3 Little Birds, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Don't worry, da-da-da-da, about a thing. 2 and 3 and 4, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Okay, a great way to practice. Likewise, a UB40 red, red wine, right? Red, red wine. One and two, that goes to my head. So that is the sort of definition of the offbeat. I do have a backing track available over on the lesson page for this lesson on my website, and it gives you a drum track that is in a sort of reggae style, and it shows you where to do these strums. Head on over there if you want to put something on and practice over a steady beat where you see exactly where to strum. I'm going to pull that up a little bit later, okay? But let's look at some chords now and talk about the next most essential part of this technique, right? Because once we bring in a chord, say we take an A major chord, for example, it's not just about strumming on the offbeat. And what we're going to do specifically is after we strum, we're going to want to silence or dampen or deaden or mute. We want to kill the sound that the strings are making just after we strum each chord, okay? So what I'm talking about is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, right? So what's going on there? The main idea, again, is we want to either use our fretting hand, probably the easiest way to do it, especially if you're playing bar chords, or sometimes your strumming hand can do this for you, but you want to basically touch the strings in a way where the sound that's ringing out stops, okay? If you're playing bar chords, you simply release the pressure a little bit. So your fingers are still going to be on the strings, but they're not going to be pushed into the fretboard anymore. See, and that kills the sound. So when you do it in sort of context, right? What I'm effectively doing is strumming, and right after I strum, I'm just releasing the sound, or releasing the pressure, that is, from my fretting hand. And if we go from that strum to the silence, it kind of creates that contrast of noise to no noise, and it kind of draws our ear, and it creates that percussive sound. Now you can also do this in open position down here. So we take an A chord, okay? This is a great thing to practice. Don't worry about the rhythm just yet. Strum any chord, and then practice basically either releasing the pressure with your fretting hand so that those notes that are ringing out stop. But you're going to notice in some cases, especially if you're in open position, you're going to need to silence those open strings. And how do you do that? So one trick you can use is to use your strumming hand. Okay, I'm just sort of resting the side of my hand into my guitar, and it kills the sound. This will require a little bit of practice, but you just want to get comfortable with it. The next thing you can do to sort of spice things up a little bit is, instead of just doing a down strum on the offbeat, you can actually do a down up, right? Down up, and then you're going to want to mute just after the up. Okay, so that's another little trick you can do. It's going to sort of be something you can add, and also you can go just do regular down strums only if you want and add those down ups sparingly. But let me show you some examples now of some songs that use this style, and we can be off to good shape. So Red Red Wine is a fun example to play with this one. We're going to need a C chord, this version of F, and this version of G. Okay, I have a capo on the first fret, which lets us play along with UB40, so all these fret numbers are relative to the capo. But notice how I'm only playing the thinnest 4 strings for the C, and then strings 4, 3, and 2 for the F and for the G. Okay, this is going to make things very muting friendly when it comes to the reggae strum. And the other thing I'll say is, if you look at the tab here, you notice how I have these little X's on the quarter note beats, right? The 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to play anything there. I am only drawing those X's in because I kind of sometimes will lightly, very lightly, sort of just brush my pick on the bass note of whatever chord I'm about to play. So I'm sort of setting my pick up for the sort of reggae strum that's about to happen, right? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 again, you don't need to play anything there. I'm just drawing that as a sort of reference because I find it easier to sort of follow in that way. So let me put on my drum track and show you what this sounds like if you play Red Red Wine using this sort of strumming style. 1 and 2 and red, red wine goes to my head, makes me forget that So another song that we can play using this sort of reggae strum is Bob Marley's Three Little Birds, right? Great song to play, only 3 chords. Our A, our D, and our E chords are what we'll need. One of the tricky things about this is doing the reggae strum and getting the clean string mutes. So again, you might see me using my strumming hand to mute things down here. You're allowed to do that. One other tip though, to make things a little bit easier for you, is you can sort of favor in your strums, just favor the thinnest 3 or 4 strings, meaning don't worry about the thickest strings on the A chord and on that E chord. This will make it easier for you to mute things, okay? So let me show you what this looks like. Again, in my tab, just like for Red Red Wine, I have the X's drawn in right on the quarter notes. You don't have to play anything there, but you will see me sometimes sort of brushing that bass note of the chord very lightly just before my sort of offbeat strum. Okay, so here is what Three Little Birds would sound like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. Singing don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be alright. I woke up this morning, smile with the rising sun. 3 little birds. And really quick, let's close out talking about fingerstyle reggae, and I just want to talk about how you can play without a pick and sort of use some of these rhythmic stylings I've sort of taught you here. So the main idea here is I have a capo on the 4th fret. I'm going to be playing through this C to E major to A minor to G progression. Okay, this is heard in Sublime's song Santeria if we do a capo 4 version. And what I'm going to do is sort of pluck the bass note with my thumb on the quarter notes. And on the offbeat, I'm going to pluck strings 2, 3, and 4 with these 3 fingers. And as soon as I pluck them, I'm going to silence the strings with my fretting hand over here. Okay, so it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. To E. To A minor. And to G. Okay? Let's put on the drum track and see how these would sound when we sort of play it through. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... I don't practice Santeria. I ain't got no crystal ball. And I had $1 million, but I'd spend it all if I can find that Hannah. All right, y'all, so that'll do it for this overview of reggae rhythm and playing with a reggae feel. Hope you found this helpful. Again, over at the website I have, songnotes.net. That's my website. All my lessons are there. You will find a bunch of bonus stuff for this lesson. I have some drum tracks that are created with a reggae groove. And also you'll have a video version of that drum track where you can see where the beat is. So if you have trouble following along with these drum tracks, you can put that on and see where the beat is. You can use that to count out loud to sort of feel, right? The 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Seeing it on the screen is so helpful when you're learning it, right? So that's over there, and members on my site get access to all my course content and extended videos for all my lessons and a bunch of other jam tracks and all kinds of marvelous stuff from the over 10 years I've been making lessons here on YouTube. So thanks to all of you who are supporting me with membership. To those of you who are new, welcome, and I hope you stick around for a long time. And to those of you who have supported me for many years, I tremendously appreciate it, and I am grateful to you that you are supporting me and my Song Notes a lesson. So thanks as always, my friends. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, take care and bye-bye.